Is travel more about the journey or the destination? Well, today it's about the journey. We're going on one of the newest bullet trains in Japan, the Kamome, which runs in Kyushu, the southernmost main island, from Fukuoka to Nagasaki. It started running towards the end of 2022. I'll show you what it's like, how to change trains at Takeo Onsen, where to put your luggage, and a little bit about reserving seats. We're in Nagasaki. We're here on a day trip from Fukuoka. We came here on the brand new Shinkansen line. Well, it's not brand new, it opened in December 2022, but it's exciting for me to go on the new Shinkansen. It's called the Kamome, which means seagull. So the whole line from Fukuoka isn't Shinkansen. The first section is a regular express train called the Relay Kamome, and then the second half from Takeo Onsen onwards is the Shinkansen. They wanted to build the whole thing as Shinkansen, and maybe one day they will, but from what I heard, the people in Saga Prefecture weren't happy about the Shinkansen line running through their prefecture because it's so expensive, but also because they were worried that if there was the Shinkansen there, people would just zoom through the prefecture and no one would come to visit. I don't know if that's true. I think it'd be easier to visit if the Shinkansen ran there. So the first section, that's a regular express train, takes just under an hour, and then the Shinkansen section from Takeo Onsen onwards takes just under half an hour. So the whole trip is just less than an hour and a half. We're using a regional rail pass for northern Kyushu. You can go on as many Shinkansen and JR trains as you like in the unreserved car, and this pass includes 6 seat reservations for free. We tried to reserve our seats this morning, but it said all the reserved seats were sold out. We tried to reserve them when we got to the station, which does work out sometimes, but I guess because there's only one train an hour to Nagasaki, they were all booked up. Sold out, car 2. Oh.
We're just doing reserved?
Yeah. Oh dear. So we just got on the unreserved car and it was fine. It was quite busy, but we got a seat. These displays alternate between Japanese and English. There's our train, the 10:04 to Nagasaki. It tells us to go to platform 4, and there's very clear signs to tell you where to go. As always, it's very organised on the platform. It tells you where to line up for each carriage. I like how JR Kyushu's trains say all around the Kyushu. This first train is the express train, the Relay Kamome. We'll be changing to the Shinkansen at Takeo Onsen Station. Relay Kamome 17号 Nagasaki 行きです. I was surprised how busy the Relay Kamome was. I don't know if it's always like this, but this was on a weekday morning at the end of February, so it's not peak season and it's not rush hour. It's very quiet on Japanese trains and it was busy, so I didn't feel much talking on the train. There's a luggage rack for suitcases and overhead bins for smaller bags, like on a plane. Here's how much legroom you get. I wasn't sure if it was okay to eat. You can generally only eat on long distance trains in Japan, so I asked the train attendant, "Kono densha de tabemono wa daijoubu desu ka?" And they said yes. We've got breakfast from the bakery. I've got a cheese ratatouille bread and Phil's got a curry pan. It's like a savoury donut with curry inside. We've also got this hash brown from the bakery. It is cold. Not sure how nice it's going to be. It's actually not bad. It is quite greasy, but it's nice and crispy on the outside. Announcements on the train are in Japanese and English. If you're learning Japanese, I think it's fun to learn the train announcements. You hear them quite a lot, so it's a good way to practice. 間もなく新鳥栖です。九州新幹線はお乗り換えです。降り口は左側です。開くドアと足元にご注意ください。The journey was actually quite scenic, more so on the express train than the Shinkansen. I enjoyed seeing these lush green farming fields with houses dotted around them and silhouettes of small mountains in the distance. Now we're getting into Takeo Onsen, where you change trains. So now we're switching over from the Relay Kamome to the actual Kamome, the Shinkansen. They park the trains directly next to each other, so you just have to go across the platform. It's really quick. The express trains and the Shinkansen trains are timed together, so you get off the train at Takeo Onsen and you just have to go across the platform to get on the Shinkansen. Here it is. There was only 3 minutes to change trains, which I thought sounded quite short, but because it's on the same platform, it was really quick to change. The change was really easy and not something you need to worry about at all. If you want to spend more time in Takeo Onsen, there's a large garden called Mifuneyama Rakuen, there's an art museum called Keishuen, and as the name suggests, it's an onsen town, so there are hot spring baths. Yellow seats. I was excited, it looks like a yellow version of the Tokaido Shinkansen we all know and love. But there are actually lots of subtle design details, like the seagull shapes on the ceiling, because Kamome means seagull. We'll see more of the train on the way back. We had a carriage pretty much to ourselves, so I was free to film everything without annoying anyone. There were fewer people on the Shinkansen than the Relay Kamome. You can take the express train all the way to Nagasaki, and it's a cheaper ticket, so I guess that's why it's still a popular option. It's the sea. Why does this always happen on the Shinkansen? As soon as I start filming out the window, the barriers come along. These seats recline so far back. Look. And now we're coming into Nagasaki. As it's the end of the line, I took advantage of the time to take some photos of the train.
I didn't expect so many people to come and take photos.
No, I'm glad we're not the only train nuts. We just arrived at Nagasaki Station and there's a stamp. That must be from Chinatown. And the Western style buildings in Nagasaki. There's one for the new Kamome Shinkansen. There's a special vending machine here at Nagasaki Station. Welcome to Nagasaki. I'm guessing these are all local foods and local specialities. There's cat treats, neko kama. I'm not a massive McDonald's fan, but at the moment you can get pom pom purin in their Happy Meal. That is pretty good. There's quite a lot of good stuff in Nagasaki Station. There's all these places to eat. There was a massive souvenir shop. We had a fantastic day in Nagasaki, walking around Dejima Wharf, Chinatown, the Peace Park and Museum, and up the ropeway to see one of Japan's top 3 night views at sunset. All that will be in a separate video, so subscribe if you want to catch it. We ended up taking the last train back. As we didn't know what time we'd be leaving, we didn't book a seat in advance. We just booked it when we got to the station, and this time it worked out. Oh wow, that's different from the way here.
Please take your ticket.
There's our tickets. So it says in English what the trip is and your seat numbers. It's got all the details. You can't help but see the lights as eyes. I always think this one looks a bit like a dragon or some sort of creature for sure. This carriage has different seats from the one we were in earlier. Looks quite fancy. I thought it was the green car to start with. 8, C and D. Here's our seat. Oh, we got a big armrest. Looks comfy. The difference in the seats might be because we were in the unreserved carriage last time, and this is the reserved carriage, which is 2 on one side and 2 on the other instead of 3 and 2. Unlike other Shinkansen, the Kamome doesn't have a green car and upper class, but the seats in the reserved cars are more comfortable and more spacious than the unreserved car, so that's an incentive to reserve a seat. The design of the train is very stylish, even the intricate patterns on the floor. There's some bathrooms in between the carriages, and here there's a luggage rack at the end of the carriage. There's one on the other side as well. That's different from some Shinkansen trains. There will definitely be a seat that you need to reserve if you want to use this. There we are, it says oversized baggage area. In most trains, the seats with space for luggage are the end row of the carriage. However, some trains have a luggage rack like this one. In those ones, the spaces are still allocated to particular seats. It doesn't always make a lot of sense which ones, but when you reserve a seat, there's an option to choose a seat with space for luggage, so that's the best way of making sure you get a spot. So here's the area between the carriages. Oh, there's some nice artwork of the Kamome. Look at that. Really looks like an animal there, doesn't it? It just wants some whiskers. And this is a nice picture too. Here's the bathrooms. There's 2 of them. Let's have a look. It's got a normal Japanese washlet, a little basin to wash your hands. It's very clean and space to put your baby. Here's another sink and mirror across here. Oh, what's this? A little display. I wonder if these are things from Nagasaki or the area. little mini exhibition. Some more artwork of the Kamome. And there's a waste bin out here too, if you've got any rubbish. You've got to have snacks for the Shinkansen. And at the convenience store at Family Mart, I found the special edition range for Cat Day. So the 22nd of February in Japan is known as Cat Day because 222 sounds like nya nya nya. And the sound cats make in Japan is meow, it's nyan. I got the caramel vanilla chocolate cookie in a cat shape, and it's got mofu sand on the packet, super cute. Phil got his favourite chocolate pound cake. Have a sweet time. I really enjoyed going on the new or newish Shinkansen. It's very clean and comfortable, and it's quite a scenic journey. I do feel a bit sad that the Kamome just goes backwards and forwards along a half-hour journey all day when Shinkansen are capable of going much further distances. I hope one day they can complete the line all the way to Fukuoka and make it what it was originally planned to be. If you've been on it, tell me what you thought and which is your favourite Shinkansen. And I'll be back next week with more videos about Japan.